In today's show, the crypto market cap returns to $2 trillion for the first time since May. That's right, we touched down at $2 trillion on Wednesday for the first time in almost 3 months, offering compelling evidence that the buyers are back in control. What does this mean for the crypto market? I'll be breaking this down for you. And as on-chain analyst Willy Woo shares, users on the Bitcoin network is growing at its fastest rate ever. 1.2 million users were added in the last 30 days. Does not include off-chain users on exchanges, which typically sees up to 3x this number. And as Dan Held shares, we wouldn't need Bitcoin if we could trust banks, if we can trust people, if we can trust the government, but we can't. That's why we need Plan B. Amen. And this just in breaking news, $161 million commodity fund to give portfolio managers option to buy Bitcoin futures as inflation hedge. That's right, $400 billion hedge fund Neuberger Berman approved to receive access to Bitcoin and Ethereum, which ultimately means they have added Bitcoin and Ethereum exposure to their portfolio. Another one bites the dust. Also in today's show, inside Cuba's Bitcoin revolution. That's right, as political demonstrations show the world that Cubans are tired of dictatorship, Bitcoin is providing an option to peacefully protest and opt out of a broken system. And as Max Kaiser predicts here, like El Salvador, other Latin American countries will likely adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. Also in today's show, one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin just flashed this week, suggesting the price is prime to explode. That's right, we're talking about the Bitcoin hash ribbons, which you can see right here. I'm going to be sharing with you the history of the Bitcoin price and every time that the hash ribbons indicator has flashed and why this is so bullish for the king of all crypto. We'll also be taking a look at the overall crypto market. As you can see, after a nice breakout yesterday for the entire crypto market, we're finally back in the red and correcting. But where's the Bitcoin price likely to go next? Find out all this, plus so much more in today's show. Here at Crypto News Alerts, I drop a brand new episode every single day, so be sure to smash that subscribe button to help support the channel. As you can see, we're fast approaching 50,000 subscribers, and we are currently correlated with the Bitcoin price. So you already know, fam, if you want to see a $50,000 BTC, smash that subscribe button to receive daily premium crypto news alerts every single day, just like this. And today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor, BlockFi, the leading provider of financial products and services for crypto investors. Here's where you can put your crypto to work and earn up to a 7.5% APY with a BlockFi interest account. And their new flagship product is this BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards Visa credit card, where you can start earning 3.5% back in Bitcoin on all your purchases within your first 90 days and 1.5% Bitcoin back thereafter. To take advantage of this, as well as receive up to a $250 crypto bonus with a deposit of $100 or more, go ahead and use my referral link in the description right down below and claim your BlockFi Bitcoin Rewards Visa credit card today. And let's start stacking those sats, shall we? All right, welcome back to another episode of Crypto News Alerts. I'm your host, JV. Yesterday was one hell of a day for the crypto market as we surpassed $2 trillion for the first time since May. That's right, the total of all cryptos in circulation, which is a major bellwether for the health of the overall crypto market, reached $2 trillion on Wednesday for the first time in almost 3 months, offering compelling evidence that the buyers are back in control. That's right, let's go Bitcoin bulls. Measured by market cap, digital asset values peaked at $2.007 trillion on Wednesday, according to data provided by CoinGecko. And over the past 24 hours, the digital asset class has risen by 4.6%. And week over week, the market has added 25% or $400 billion. And this is just the beginning of the second leg up. I love to point that out, as by the end of this year, we can easily see $6, $7, $8 trillion market cap. Just saying. Now, Bitcoin, which is the largest and most influential crypto, as we all know, accounted for 43.7% of the overall market. And Ethereum, the second largest crypto by market cap, took 18.9% of the market share. The crypto market reached a grand total valuation of $1 trillion back in January, before more than doubling 3 months later. Asset values peaked closer to $2.6 trillion on May 11th, before a major downturn effectively halved the total market cap. Now, a confluence of forces is working together to aid crypto's recovery. A wave of institutional buying, steady accumulation by retail investors, and billions of dollars in venture funding for crypto and blockchain startups have all contributed to this rally. And let's not forget all the supply squeeze undertones, which have been largely responsible for this Bitcoin rally as well, which appears to have paved the way for the altcoins to reassert their dominance. That's right, the next alt season amongst us. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Crypto markets are maintaining their bullish bias despite some concerning regulatory developments in the US. As reported, President Sleepy Joe's infrastructure deal recently passed in the Senate without the much needed clarification on what constitutes a cryptocurrency broker. The version that passed through the Senate earlier this week may impose tax reporting requirements on protocol developers that many in the crypto industry believe are unworkable. The bill isn't expected to make its way to the House of Representatives until later this year. And regarding that bill, I love this tweet right here. I'd personally like to thank the US government for so poetically demonstrating the problems we are trying to fix by attacking Bitcoin in a $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. We've been trying to describe the problem for quite some time, but could never do it this well. Preach. And before I break down our next breaking story of the day, just in, $161 million commodity fund to give portfolio managers option to buy Bitcoin futures as inflation hedge. As $400 billion hedge fund manager, Neuberger Berman approved to receive access to Bitcoin and Ethereum. And before I take you inside Cuba's Bitcoin revolution, as well as share with you one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin, which just flashed this week, suggesting that the Bitcoin price is prime to explode. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market. You can see after having a massive pump yesterday, the market is back correcting and in the red. We have Bitcoin down 2.5%, trading at about 45,000. We have Ether down about 4%, trading at around $3,100. Cardano down 0.3%, trading at $1.77. XRP broke out 25% yesterday, hitting about $1.07 before correcting to where we're currently at about 98 cents. And Binance Coin up 0.18%, trading at $385. Binance Coin surpassed 400 yesterday as well. All right, now let's break down our next story of the day. A $400 billion investment management firm, Neuberger Berman, recently announced adding exposure to Bitcoin and Ether derivatives and investment vehicles as part of their firm's fund strategy. That's right, another hedge fund to join the crypto community. The SEC filing outlines that the asset manager will receive exposure to crypto via a subsidiary firm with the minimum investment of $5 million. The filing comes after the firm disclosed a hedge cryptocurrency volatility fund in the SEC Form D filing, which, as per the filing, has made no sales as of July 29th. And quoting them here in this report, the fund may seek to gain exposure to cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ether, indirectly through cryptocurrency derivative instruments such as Bitcoin futures and Ether futures traded on futures exchanges registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, or indirectly through investments in investment vehicles that invest into cryptocurrencies. The fund expects to gain exposure to these crypto investments primarily by investing through its subsidiary, reads the report. Now, Neuberger Berman is the latest firm to enter the crypto space by adding exposure to digital assets to its fund, joining the expanding list of hedge funds that are investing into cryptocurrencies. And as reported, 98% of the hedge fund CFOs expect that digital assets will become an alternative investment for the industry, and more firms can start adding crypto to their portfolios in the next couple of years. You can say that again, the domino effect has already started, thanks to MicroStrategy and Michael Saylor being the first publicly traded company to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Now let's discuss this Bitcoin experiment. The fund focuses mainly on commodities with a broad portfolio of investments and derivatives related to livestock, precious metals, energy, among many other areas. And back in January, Steve Eisman, the managing director for the firm, said to Bloomberg that he wanted to stay out of the crypto space because he didn't understand it. However, it seems his view has obviously changed, and it shows in the firm's blog in an article entitled The Bitcoin Experiment, quoting it right here. From our perspective as a fundamentals-driven asset manager, an investment into cryptocurrency should not be considered part of a standard asset allocation. Instead, we'd rather view it as an option that pays off when expectations for an uncertain inflationary future increase and make the finite, non-human controlled supply dynamics of cryptocurrencies valuable, reads the blog. And in yesterday's episode, I also shared breaking news of car insurance company Metro Mile buying 1 million of Bitcoin for its balance sheet to let the massive adoption continue. And before I break down our next story of the day and we dive inside Cuba's Bitcoin revolution, as well as I share with you one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin, which just flashed this week, suggesting the price is prime to explode. But first, let's take a quick look at the overall crypto market cap, currently sitting just above $1.9 trillion with about $130 billion in volume. volume in the past 24 hours, and the current Bitcoin dominance is 44.9%, with the Ether dominance at 19.4%. And checking out the top gainers within the top 100, we have XDC up 32% for the day, trading just under 13 cents. Nano up 17% for the day and 50% for the week, trading at $6.63. And XRP up a whopping 11% for the day and 37% for the week, trading just under 98 cents. Now, which altcoins are you currently most bullish on during this bull run? Let me know in the comments right down below. And now checking out one of my favorite indicators is the Crypto Greed and Fear Index. Shows we're currently rated a 70 out of 100 in greed, the same as yesterday. Last week a 50 neutral, and last month a 20 in extreme fear. And if you're not familiar with the Crypto Greed and Fear Index, extreme fear can be a sign investors are too worried. That can be a great buying opportunity, aka BTFD, buy that freaking dip. And when investors are getting too greedy, that means the market is due for a correction. All right, now let's break down our next story of the day. As political demonstrations show the world that Cubans are tired of dictatorship, Bitcoin is providing an option to peacefully protest and opt out of a broken system. That's right. How do you opt out of the matrix? BTC all day. Lucia is a 30-year-old medical worker and Bitcoin user living in Matanzas, a city of about 150,000 people, sitting about 50 miles east of Havana on Cuba's northern coast. Named after the Aboriginal rebellion against Spanish colonizers, the word Matanzas literally translates to slaughter. The settlement later turned into the 19th century epicenter of slavery and sugar plantations, and today, like all Cuban cities, is the ground zero for a financial and human crisis. The Cuban people are suffering their worst economic struggle since the early 1990s, when the Soviet Union collapsed and the regime lost its main lifeline. At the time, longtime dictator Fidel Castro told citizens they needed to unite together to get through a special period. The era was marked by food shortages, blackouts, thousands of fleeing to Florida on risky rafts, and a spectacular devaluation of the Soviet ruble-pegged peso. Between 1991 and 1994, the Cuban economy contracted by 35% and quality of life deteriorated dramatically. In response, tens of thousands of protesters gathered at the Malcon waterfront calling for an end to the government. And at that time, the internet did not exist, so the regime was able to quell the movement through police brutality while ensuring that most Cubans barely knew that anything had happened. And state television and radio made a brief mention of a small gathering of delinquents and troublemakers, but in reality, Malacanazo was a staggering display of dissent, the biggest on the island since the revolution. And as we all know, when the money system breaks, it can threaten a regime's survival. Now, this article is extremely long and thorough, so I'll include it in the show notes below the video in the description. But let's fast forward to finding freedom through Bitcoin. And speaking about Lucia, check this out. Captivated by what she heard on the Kaiser report about a new form of digital money, Lucia started researching Bitcoin, and she eventually joined a Telegram group, first in English and then in Spanish, filled with other Latin Americans who followed the show. These communities gave her a full education in how to use Bitcoin. Quoting her here, "They taught me how I could be my own bank," Lucia said. So shout out to Max Kaiser and Stacey Herbert of the Kaiser Report and Orange Pill Pod. And through a conversation one day, Lucia discovered that one of her friends was also into Bitcoin, and they started talking about it on a regular basis. Lucia also joined several Cuba-focused Bitcoin groups on Telegram, continuing to expand her knowledge. She bought and then sent $10 Bitcoin to a friend abroad, and the two marveled together at how they did not have to use a bank, provide any identification, or use the official system in any way. Even the currency itself, they realized, was not produced by a state or corporation, but by an online community. They did not even know who created Bitcoin, and it did not even seem to matter. "This is groundbreaking," she told me. "What papers did I have to fill out? None at all. That's the difference between fiat trash and Bitcoin. Bitcoin is banking the unbanked." And in countries like El Salvador, 70% of the population was unbanked. But all that has changed as they recently adopted Bitcoin as a legal tender, and I think other Latin American countries are likely to follow. Lucia told me that many people receive Bitcoin from abroad and then convert it to MLC or pesos to buy food or supplies. In her case, she uses it to invest for her future. She calls it her personal reserve and best option for saving money. She said that the U.S. embargo is still very painful for Cubans. Quoting her here, "A lot of people will deny this reality," she said, "but we can no longer buy MLC in dollars. We do not have access to American financial apps. Our families in the U.S. have a very hard time sending U.S. dollars. Bitcoin," she said, "helps ease the pain. Lucia looks to Bitcoin as an alternative to the dollar system. If we were free from the dollar, she told me, then we would have freedom. Several Cubans that I spoke to for this story demonstrated a similar lingering patriotism despite the betrayal of the revolution. Quoting her here, the embargo puts our government against the wall, Lucia said, arguing that Bitcoin can give independence not just for people like her at an individual level, but for the Cuban society as a whole. That's right, she credits curiosity for her new Bitcoin life. Curiosity is what moves people. That's what motivated me to become a medical worker, she said. It animates all human beings. This curiosity is now driving her to learn about Bitcoin and spread it to others. Quoting her here, people have so many questions, she said. Who makes it? How does it work? Where do you get it? It's good to take advantage of these teachable moments. Adoption is happening, she said, but it will take time. Bitcoin allows you to control your money, your spending, and by extension, your life. As a woman, she said, my future is finally in my own hands. So there you have it. And as Max Keiser predicts here, like El Salvador, other Latin American countries will likely adopt Bitcoin as legal tender. The domino effect has already began. And speaking of price predictions, check this out. Max shared this back in January 9th. Bitcoin price is a coiling spring right now. When it pops, 65,000 will fall very quickly. That's right. Max nailed this prediction, I should say. Max Satoshi Montana. Now check this out. Here's the original tweet right here. You can see the date, January 9th, 2021. And lo and behold, the current all-time high is around that $65,000 mark. So I love Max Keiser's year-end price prediction of 220,000 as Max has the right track record hitting these targets. And before I break down our final story of the day, and I share one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin, which just flashed this week, suggesting the Bitcoin price is prime to explode. But first, I want to remind you to smash that show more button right below this video in the description for a detailed analysis of what's going on in the crypto market. This goes for all 870 plus videos right here on my channel. Also have some very helpful resources for you to plug into, including my daily letter, which goes out to over 30,000 subscribers every single day. To subscribe, visit letter.cryptonewsalerts.net. Also have a blog I update daily, which can be found at cryptonewsyes.com. Also be sure to smash that subscribe button to help support the channel, and let's get to 50,000 subs light speed. You can also find me on all the major podcasting platforms, from Spotify, the home of the Joe Rogan Experience, to Apple's iTunes and Google Play. Of course, you can also follow me on crypto Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, and TikTok, so be sure to follow me there. All right, now let's break down our final story of the day. On August 9th, one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin flashed a buy signal. We're talking about the hash ribbons, which is an indicator created by Charles Edwards, which uses the 30 and 60-day moving averages of Bitcoin hash rate to determine when miner capitulation has occurred, and uses this to estimate the local Bitcoin bottoms. And in this chart right here on your screen, you can see the history of the Bitcoin price every time that the hash ribbons indicator has flashed. Hash ribbon serves as such an effective and historically accurate buy indicator for Bitcoin because it uses the changes in Bitcoin hash rate to measure miner capitulation in the Bitcoin market. During periods where mining operations are turning off their rigs, it shows that it is uneconomical to mine. Hash rate declines, blocks are mined slower than the 10-minute block target, and eventually difficulty will adjust downwards to encourage these miners to plug back in. This is typically the process in which miners turn off their machines in large numbers, which is subsequently followed by the hash ribbon indicator signaling capitulation, followed by an eventual buy signal. However, the cause for the massive decrease in hash rate wasn't entirely caused by increased competitiveness in the mining industry, driving profits down, but rather because of political decree and what ended up being the largest nation-state attack on Bitcoin ever from the arms of the Chinese Communist Party. That's right, and right here you're looking at the Bitcoin hash rate, 7-day moving average. Over the course of 6 weeks, the Bitcoin mean hash rate declined by 53%, and although the capitulation event was more artificial, the decline in hash rate still had a very meaningful impact on miner revenues for those who still remain plugged in. As seen on the July monthly report, daily revenue for Bitcoin miners declined from a high of $67.5 million per day in May to a low of $19.8 million per day in early July. As you can see right here in this chart, not only were the remaining miners squeezed while difficulty was lagging in the midst of 4 straight downward adjustments, but mining operations in China, who were abruptly faced with moving their entire operations out of the country, most definitely had to liquidate reserves, of which a majority can be assumed to have been stored in Bitcoin, as is the case with all miners who aim to hodl as much Bitcoin as possible. So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts surrounding this bullish buy indicator known as the hash ribbons indicator. And where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to explode to before the end of this year? here? Do you feel 220,000 is in play as Max Kaiser predicts? Let me know in the comments right down below. Now for a quick recap of what I covered with you here in today's show. Crypto market cap returns to $2 trillion for the first time since May, as well as breaking news, $400 billion hedge fund manager Neuberger Berman approved to receive access to Bitcoin and Ethereum. Also took you inside of Cuba's Bitcoin revolution. And we also discussed one of the best buy indicators in Bitcoin, which just flashed this week, suggesting the price is prime to explode. Talking about the hash ribbons, but where do you feel the Bitcoin price is likely to go next? Let me know in the comments right down below. Well, that's going to conclude today's show. As always, I appreciate you tuning in and journeying along with me inside this incredible crypto revolution. If you gain value out of today's show, be sure to smash that subscribe button to help support the channel and help us get to over 50,000 subs. And don't forget to smash my referral link in the description right down below to claim your BlockFi Bitcoin rewards Visa credit card so you can start earning 3.5% back in Bitcoin on all purchases. Let's start stacking those sats, and I look forward to seeing you on tomorrow's episode. Peace.